Hi there, this is Jen, and thanks for joining me on the Not Too Shabby YouTube channel today. Today I am using the Stampin' Die of the Month, which is called Picnic Cows. I'm also using a paper pad from the paper pad subscription of the month, and I'm using the Pink Roses paper pad. And so I went ahead and I grabbed two sheets from that paper pad and set them aside for reference when coloring my image. And I chose to color up the cow with the watermelon and the ant. It's probably my favorite one. It is absolutely adorable. And I'm going to be doing some alcohol marker coloring today, and so I have stamped on my image with some Memento black ink. I am using mainly Ohuhu alcohol markers and Hammermill cardstock. And I would say that I have had over the years a love-hate relationship with alcohol marker coloring. I don't usually leave the coloring in because of that. However, I have over the years learned to enjoy it, and I actually use alcohol markers quite a bit now. And I think part of that comes from just letting go of the high expectations I had for myself. I am not willing to put in a lot of time doing classes and things with alcohol markers, and so I am fine for now with my coloring. I don't worry too much about the light source, although I do want it to look nice, and I do try and put highlights in. I don't really know if they're in the right spot, and I don't think the person that I'm sending it to is going to know either. And so once I just let that stress go of trying to do, a perfect job, I started to really enjoy it. And so I just love picking the colors out, and for this one I picked, of course, reds and greens for the watermelon and the strawberry. And then one of the pieces of pattern paper that I picked from that Pink Roses paper pack has kind of like a confetti pattern almost, and there's lots of pinks in there. And so I chose to do pink for some of the accents on the cow. And then to fill in that color, I am using some Copics in C0, and I believe it's C1. And I'm happily coloring along, and I get to the area by the watermelon and the cow's nose with this gray marker, and I accidentally get the marker in the watermelon, and I ended up dragging a little bit of that red color onto the gray of the face of the cow. And so I tried to fix this by taking my sand eraser. And if you're familiar with Hammermill paper, it is not a coated paper. It doesn't do good with water. And so it is very easily kind of destroyed, I guess. And so what I did was I tried to get that red marker off using my sand eraser. I was a little bit rough on the paper, and so I ended up kind of having, the paper, when you work it too much, it kind of rolls up a little bit and gets this really rough patch. So that's what happened. That's what ended up happening. I didn't want to trash the whole thing because of that, and so after I add some highlights using this gel marker, I'm going to go ahead and add some little dots to his face, and then I decided to go a little crazy with the dots, and I added the gray dots all over the cow. So it's not super noticeable, the little mistake I made in the far shot, but on the close-up shot on the video, you can see that there's a little bit of disruption to the paper. So after I went ahead and did that, I took out my glitter pen. I added a little bit of that to the watermelon, the strawberry, the top of the cow's head where that like little patches, as well as the ant. And then I wanted to pop up my character, but I didn't want to use foam. Sometimes foam is a little bit too thick, and so I went ahead and I cut two extra pieces using the coordinating die for this stamp, and I'm just stacking those and gluing together, so it gives it a little bit of dimension, but not too much. And then I'm using a die set from my stash that has this tag. I think is actually a set for a mini slimline because this die right here is a little bit bigger than my 6x6 piece of paper, but I'm going to use it anyhow. It's got a little bit of stitching on the side, and so I went ahead and cut both of my pieces of pattern paper out. And then I'm going to grab a card panel that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 and adhere that wider piece kind of right centered in the middle, so there's a little bit left on each, a little bit of white space on each side. then I will just start assembling all of my elements onto the card panel. And one of the reasons I love the die sets in these is they cut out the sentiments that come with the set so perfectly. It just looks so clean and sharp. And the good news is that as of the making of this video, the die and stamp set is still available. The stamp set is has sold out, so just the stamp set is not available. You can get the stamp and the die set though still, and the paper pads are still available as well, and I will leave those products linked in the description below. But that is my card for today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please go ahead and give a thumbs up. I thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you next time.